it is a future for them. It is something that can literally turn and give hope to their future generations. Our main vision is to be able, like, to ignite that spark where people are able to take, responsibility, decide for themselves their own financial future, decide for themselves what will work for them. And that is why we are very bullish about uh, Bitcoin adoption and Bitcoin circular economy, because we are looking at an area where if a value is held in this community and it circulates within this community, in the next 10 to 15 years, if this value is kept within this community, the values of this community will really grow, and that is going to have a huge impact in some of these informal settlements, which are very aid dependent, and that could be the game changer.
So hello, Ronnie. So you are from Kibera, Kenya.
Yes, I'm from Kibera, Kenya. That's where I am from. Uh,
Nice.
Co-founder at AfriBit.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I recently wrote something on Kibera, Kenya, and it sparked me to want to ask questions directly to AfriBit.
Awesome. I did see the article. That was wonderful. And for a minute, I thought you were actually on the ground because you captured quite everything, pretty much what was happening.
Nice, that's good. So what's the situation exactly with, I don't know where to start, to be honest. AfriBit. When did AfriBit start? And what was AfriBit's contribution to basically Kibera adopting to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange?
So AfriBit actively started, the Bitcoin circular economy started in 2022, but the movement started in 2019, where my co-founder and I were teaching students about Bitcoin adoption as part of an introductory course to software development. And he's in the blockchain area. He's a blockchain expert from Canada. And we wanted the students, before they could do all the other Bitcoin courses, like software development courses, that is Python, smart contracting, and all that, they started with Bitcoin 101. And our mission was to create an e-commerce platform, AfriBit Marketplace, where, like, we could have the different African states trade on uniform currency. So the journey started in 2019, but for the Kibra initiative, it started around 2022.
And the Kibra initiative was for users to save, or was it used to have an option or an alternative to buy stuff as used as a medium of exchange? What's the main aim?
So we've had a long-term relationship with Kibra. Personally, I've worked with Kibra for over 14 years in different development sectors, mainly behavior change and youth empowerment programs. The main issue why we were considering Bitcoin for Kibra was the issue of financial inclusion. Most of the guys who we were working with did not have access to banking systems. Most of them did not have, some of them did not even have documentation. And some of them did not even have Kenya Revenue Authority PIN that is required for you to open up an account. So there was need, and one thing that stood out very clearly was like these guys were excluded from the traditional finance system. So with so many meetups with local youth groups and some women groups, we all explored how Bitcoin could, become a tool on how this gap could be filled. So that is where the journey started. The main intention was actually giving them a tool to be a part of, like, a system that is not controlled by anyone, but they could be a part of a financial system where they could earn, spend, and also save. That is where it all started.
And what was the thing that really convinced these people to adopt Bitcoin? Was it the saving element or the fact that you can use it to spend?
The saving element was good, but a lot of people from the low income settlements would not accept anything you tell them, like this is a store of value, if they're not able to experience it as a means of exchange. So when they could realize, like, they could exchange value for it, we are seeing now patterns of people seeing it as a means of, as a store of value, but it started as a means of exchange. They could get goods, using Bitcoin. And initially it was peer to peer. That was before Tando. Tando came into board. But the uptake even got better once people realized, like, oh, okay, so this is real money that we are talking about. And
Yeah.
then there was the issue of appreciation. And that also, the timing was really good because people could see the value of Bitcoin, like growing. So that also really did push for adoption. We did not anticipate this kind of quick adoption, which actually also caught us by surprise. So we kind of had, like, to catch up with the interest that we were stirring.
And are you seeing females or males? As in, is it split down the middle or is there a preference?
Young people, young male, of course, young male are more dominant, but in the last quarter, we have seen more women in statistics. I can say, like, we have seen a surge of about 20 women join the movement very actively and building initiatives around the space. And one of the initiative is now like the upcycling initiative, where they get incentivized in sats, but also once they sell whatever they have they have upcycled, they are converting that into sats. And we're also seeing women now starting channels whereby they want to start to teach other vulnerable women. One key initiative is like a Tumaini Dada. Dada is a word for a sister, and Tumaini is hope. So hope for a sister, loosely translated in Swahili, means Tumaini Dada. These girls now, after the Bitcoin education and Bitcoin adoption, they are leading this initiative where they want to teach teenage moms. This is a very marginalized group also within the larger marginalized group of Kibra.
And so how many active users are there at the moment?
I would say over 200, like 200. I know the numbers are higher if you look at the blink cycles, but these are the people I'm talking directly about. We work with 4 waste management group. Live Great has 30 members. Musafi Boys has 20 members. Um, Underwater has 10 members. Uh, Golden Heart has about 20 members. Then the Upcycling has 15 members. Then we have the Merchants, which now are at about 42. And we do have like border riders, the motorcycle riders, which the number is at 15, but I know it could be higher. So these are people who are directly in the line of earning as well as maybe earning and spending as well.
So these are groups of people,
Yes,
correct?
these are groups of
In
people.
Kibera.
Um, how this works in the model that we used to get the sats into the community, we started by working with the waste management groups. These are the lowest of the lowest if you look at the hierarchy in terms of the community. And these are guys who would be doing garbage collection without Bitcoin anyways. So the plan here was to incentivize them for what they were already doing. So every Sunday, we had started with a small number of 12, which has now grown into almost 70. Every Sunday after they collect their wastes, we were incentivizing them with sats for collecting their.
How does that work? So how does that work? So
So you have a group, of, let's say these are 10 members from an already organized waste management group in a community. These youths, every Sunday, what they do is they do their waste management because they collect waste from all the other members or households in the community. And that is how they generate income, anyways, for their groups by collecting waste, sorting it, and then selling the recyclables. So
yes.
the way AfriBit came in as a partner to incentivize their habits using Bitcoin. So for every day they collected their waste, what we were doing was we would offer them sats. Let's say a group of 12, each of them would get maybe like $5 worth of sats for each member. And then we had asked them, where would you spend these sats uh, that you are earning? And they already had points. So this helped them and us identify the merchants. So what AfriBit had to do now was we had to educate the merchants, the importance of accepting Bitcoin as payment, the values and the advantages and the disadvantages and all that. And some of the key areas which these youths were suggesting, one, they wanted, in Kibera, it's community washrooms. So they wanted to be able to spend those sats in community washrooms. They had entertainment spots where
What is
kids.
it? What is a washroom? It's just what is that? To clean your clothes or
Community washroom is where people go to take a shower. Kibera is a
okay.
slum, so not everyone has a shower in their houses. So you find one community shower could probably be serving a population of even maybe 500 people. So
Wow.
this is a common place where all the youths at least spend some money there for wash services. The other,
That's good.
yes. Then the other area was uh, sports is a huge thing in Kibra, like the Premier League, the Bundesliga, the Spanish La Liga. So they have those entertainment sports. If those entertainment sports for watching soccer could be onboarded, then they could use these sats which they were earning as well to pay for them to be able to watch. The other thing was now like the local vendors, which are very small service providers who sell vegetables, uh, street foods, fast foods. So now the work for AfriBit was cut, educating these merchants on the importance of accepting Bitcoin payments. Because for there to exist merchants, we needed to have people who are earning in Bitcoin and who are willing to spend their Bitcoin. But also for the merchants to accept the Bitcoin, we needed to have people who are willing to pay them in Bitcoin. And we already had this pool of the waste management guys that we were incentivizing with the SATs. So that is how it started. Then we learned now, like, through the challenges, we had some local whales, those young guys who were smart enough and they had gone ahead and learned about what Bitcoin is all about. So every time the payments were made, they would go out and, like buy out all the sats, at the price. So we had an.
So people have realized that this is a good opportunity for them
Exactly. A few
to
people had
basically
realized.
improve their situation.
Exactly. A few people had realized. So we realized, like, okay, if we want to really empower everyone, then we needed to focus on Bitcoin education. So we decided for everyone who was, let's say, a waste management participant, they had to commit some hours, for learning what Bitcoin is, the fundamentals, and all that. Then for merchants who are accepting Bitcoin, the first step that we did, because most of these businesses are owned by slightly older people than the youths, and Bitcoin already had a name. There was a lot of issues like, there's a lot of scamming in Bitcoin. Maybe this is another scam. So we really had to build a trust with the merchants. And these were slightly older people. Merchants don't have much time to attend education classes, so we had to fit into their schedule. But we did this 101, sometimes even inviting them over at our own homes. We would go through slides, we would show them until, they were really comfortable and they could understand the basics. And then now we started the other side of education now with those who are earning the SATs, which was now like the waste management groups. We did 15 hours in total, and by the third session of those classes, the people who were selling their Bitcoin had reduced into almost 70% because they had learned the value and now they could connect. Now we know why these guys had been coming, like for our sats. So they could connect and they started now, like, educating the others. So we had more groups now, like, joining. Remember, we started with a group of 10, 15. We
10.
had now more groups, which now were coming, and the rule was the same. Before we onboarded any group, we had to make sure they had this basic education. And the wonder of it all was the merchants were onboarding other merchants. So our work was now to build on top or educate more merchants. And the youths were also like, orange peeling their sisters, orange peeling their families. That is how the movement kind of grew up so fast. And we had now again to re-strategize on how we were going to do more education. So that meant more community meetups. And these community meetups now are even outside the circles of those particular clusters that we were targeting.
Really, really interesting. And with regards to education, what do you find works?
What has worked very well is you will find in each and every sector. I'll give an example, let's say, like for the motorcycle guys. You will find there's that one guy who they call like a bishop or a priest. He's always talking, talking. So we started with those guys and we gave them like one-on-one session, Bitcoin education, until they had sort of become like maximalist in their own ways. They could explain it in simple language to their peers because you find all these cohorts have their own language on how they kind of relate like to each other. So the one-on-one approach was very powerful in a sense that if it is a vegetable vendor, who is the most influential vegetable vendor, in this cycle? And we would start with that one. Make sure they learn, make sure they participate, then they make our work easier because by the time we are doing the general education, they have kind of done the layman's work in terms that maybe an educationist could not get across, and that has already been done. So there was a lot of peer-to-peer learning, but we had to invest on these so-called, we call them community nodes. So we identify who is most vocal here in this area. Oh, go for Andrew. Andrew talks a lot, and so that is how we kind of approached it. So that was the most effective approach.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to imagine, okay, I'm over there in Kibera and I've just received $5 in sats. Am I thinking I'm going to sell it into Kenyan shillings, or I don't care anymore and I'm just gonna keep it? I don't care if it goes up or down because I'm using it for to get a shower, basically.
Yeah.
Is that the situation? So people aren't thinking, I'm going to trade this or I'm going to sell it for more Kenyan shillings because it went up, for example. Yesterday it went up few thousand. If people know in Kibera they might want to sell their sats for Kenyan shillings, is that part of the conversation or they don't care about that?
It is part of the conversation. As you know, people in Kibra live on very fine margins. So Bitcoin gives them a hedge, against inflation, against our debasing currency. It also gives them hope if someone is able to save, just a little. And it's not cast on steel for everyone. We have young people who are actually saving and they are very bold. They will tell you, like, I'm saving this for my kids. And they have understood all the nitty-gritties of Bitcoin. And they don't care whether the graph is going up, the graph is going down. In fact, for them, volatility is an opportunity for them to buy. They have kind of understood. But for the merchants, uh, we have merchants. So when the merchants get paid in Bitcoin, this is where
Can you
now,
give me an example of two or three merchants? Are you talking about people that pay the youth for the separation of the plastic, for example, or are you talking about those that give the farmers that give the vegetables to the vendors?
I'm talking about people who sell everyday goods. Example of the merchants. So there is like a barber shop, there is a mini store, there is a water vendor. So these are everyday merchants, people who, like, at least someone has to go to these shops every single day. So these are the merchants that I'm talking about. So for most of these merchants, you find that they will need to restock. Even if they sell in Bitcoin, they will need to restock. So their issue might be,
Exactly.
yes, they are saving a portion of their money in Bitcoin. They wouldn't care, but the money that they need to reinvest, then they need to secure it because of volatility. And this is where now the issue of stable sats comes into play. So with apps like Blink, you're able to hedge whatever you have been paid in Bitcoin into USD, which means it's not affected by volatility. And when they go to the market, they are able to pay other suppliers using Tando, which is now an off-ramping tool that is for Kenya. They can be able to off-ramp using Tando, and they're able to pay, let's say, like the wholesalers in Bitcoin, but then from their StableSats account.
How do you spell that? Tando? Tanto?
Tando.
Tando.
Yes, Tando.
Okay, and with Tando you can, it's like an exchange.
It's an off-ramping. It's an off-ramping and it's non-KYC. It's a tool that it's very easy. Like even if you are in Malta right now, you download Tando, you are able to send someone in Kenya who has a Safaricom number. You are able to send the money from your Bitcoin wallet.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
And what challenges have you noticed since 2019 that maybe no longer are there, or what challenges have you noticed in general?
The main challenges still are infrastructural, because even in this situation, you will find people who don't have cell phones. There are those people who, yes, they really want to participate, but they don't have cell phones. So you find maybe a family will share a phone and they are forced to have like different wallets. Probably I'll have a Moon wallet, my brother would have Blink, my other brother maybe would have wallet of Satoshi. So they have their own ways on how they are trying to go about this. But that is one key challenge. Then, of course, there's the issue of the internet access. Not everyone has internet access, though there's a platform like Manchankura, but you find there are people who are so used to internet, and for user user experience. They are used to scanning if it's point of sales, and if they don't have bundles, then probably that is limiting. That is limiting for them. The other issue that we have kind of seen, it's mainly with uh, the women. We do have some women who their spouses do not want them to participate, let's say, in anything to do with Bitcoin because they still believe it's a scam and they are like, you guys are going to be conned very soon. Watch out. This is all a scam. So this creates tension sometimes in families. Yes, we do have those tailored spouses meetups, but it's still a challenge with some who are very, very hard on their ways and we would not want to ruin anyone's relationship. So you find such people sometimes are left out.
It's funny, everyone has the same internal debate,
Sure, sure, sure.
no matter where you are, like in the world.
Yes.
So volatility is not one of the main issues.
Volatility for now with Blink, I wouldn't say it's an issue because it's really addressed in the education. So a lot of people actually now what they're doing is, yes, they get paid. When they see the graph is going up, they convert their money into stable sats. When they see maybe the graph is starting to go down, they convert it again, into stable sats. So one wallet in particular, the Blink, has really been able to address that issue. And that has been huge for the merchants specifically. Yeah.
It's funny because basically now USDT is it USDT or USDC or which stable
USDT.
coin is it?
USDT.
USDT.
Yeah.
So are people using decentralized exchanges or are they relying on custodial platforms? Like where are people getting the Bitcoin in exchange for their Kenyan shillings? Is it from AfriBit? Is AfriBit acting like a point, of exchange?
Not really. Right now, people are using Tando if they need to convert their money into Kenya shillings. The most simple tool that people are using right now is Tando. And then we also have people who want to buy Bitcoin. There's also another platform where they can buy Bitcoin using M-Pesa. As you know, mobile money is very huge in Kenya. So now it's both ways. We have tools where someone is able to buy Bitcoin, and we also have a tool where someone is able to spend their Bitcoin easily.
Interesting. And are you seeing any interest from local government?
Actually, that is an interesting point because just last week we met with the public administration of the area where we work in, and there's this huge wall, uh, the administration wall, and they were offering it to the young guys to put their Bitcoin messages. And one of the things like the elders, the community elders, and the public administration was suggesting was they want this kind of education to be included in the public forums that they normally run and organize. So that is something that is starting as early as in the next 2 weeks. The wall is already being done. So I think once the youths are done, they would put
Wallet or wall? What,
a
what did
wall,
you
like a wall, a perimeter wall. It's like a
and
fence.
what's this wall going to be used for?
It's a wall that they're going to paint Bitcoin messages.
Ah, so it's like they're going to promote Bitcoin
Yes,
through like art graffiti.
exactly. Yeah. And this
And
is
the
how,
government is saying that they want to do this,
and the government is the one that owns the wall.
owns the wall. So they have to let you do this,
So
basically.
yes, they'll have to let you do this. So they are asking the youths to use the wall to do their Bitcoin messaging.
How good. And did they come up with this idea on their own, or did AfriBit suggest it to them?
Actually, they did follow the young guys. They did follow the young guys because most of the administrators are fairly older. So, yes, they have attended some government meetings on Bitcoin adoption, but they were telling us it's been like, a foreign language. They are really not grasping because there's a bill that is under review right now, the virtual assets, the virtual asset bill. And there's been a lot of stakeholders engagement and stuff. So these elders have been part of those forums going back and forth, and they know what is happening in the space within the community because you cannot hide like 40 merchants who are accepting Bitcoin. You have a huge population of young people who get incentivized using Bitcoin, and their
How
kids are
many?
part of them. Sorry?
Could you repeat that last bit?
I'm saying you have 40 merchants in a community who are accepting Bitcoin payments. You have so many other young youths in four different waste management groups, which forms a huge part of social fabric of that particular community who are earning incentives as well as in Bitcoin. And they are starting to save in Bitcoin, converting their fiat into Bitcoin. So some of these young guys are actually their kids. So it's something they learn also in their homes. So what they want to do is they want to understand it better. And some of them are actually interested in buying Bitcoin now for themselves. They're like, how do
Oh,
we
good.
buy this? Yeah. Mm.
Really good.
Yeah.
And do you think that this is how is the crime in this area? And do you think that with more Bitcoin adoption and usage, crime will start to go down?
So Bitcoin alone will not be able to fight crime, but we are trying to do also other behavior change programs. So we're not just doing Bitcoin, we are doing community building and we're integrating this into sports where we highlight, the ethos and the values of Bitcoin. And in one practical example that I can share is about a soccer tournament that happens across all the villages in Kibera. This particular village where we are working in, they happen to win the soccer tournament. And most of these guys were very deep into Bitcoin. So their prize money that they received, they converted a huge portion of that into actually Bitcoin. They wanted to have their own Bitcoin treasury as a team.
Mm,
So
the team.
yes, the team, they converted
What's the name of the team?
a Three West soccer team. It's called Three West Soccer Team. It's in this particular area where we work in. So this is also creating interest with the other teams, that they play with. They play with. So you can see how the ripple effect is, and there's a lot of peer-to-peer, education that is happening and support amongst just these young guys themselves. Yeah.
Very interesting. It's cool that these soccer teams are saying, listen, these guys are converting winnings into Bitcoin. Maybe we should do the same thing.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So, finally, what's your vision for Bitcoin use in the area and maybe more broader in different villages? Maybe there's interest in different villages and in Kenya in general. Where do you see this moving in the next year or 5 years or 10 years?
Our vision is to ignite the spark, which is already happening, and we are seeing organic growth happening, spilling over into other villages. Right now, we are doing a lot of mentoring to folks who are coming to learn on what is working, what the challenges we had, and then trying to build up on top. But we would really, really, or I would selfishly really like to see, like, more communities move into Bitcoin standard, especially these underbanked communities, because it is a future for them. It is something that can literally turn and give hope to their future generations, even those few sats which they are able maybe to save and stack for their future. Because if you look at the reality right now, it is them against the system. They feel the system is, wired against them. But Bitcoin gives them that hope, like, oh, here is a tool that we could leverage and this could be different. So our main vision is to be able, like, to ignite that spark where people are able to take, responsibility, decide for themselves their own financial future, decide for themselves what will work for them. And that is why we are very bullish about uh, Bitcoin adoption and Bitcoin circular economy, because we are looking at an area where if a value is held in this community and it circulates within this community, uh, in the next 10 to 15 years, if this value is kept within this community, the values of this community would really grow, and that is going to have a huge impact in some of these informal settlements, which are very aid dependent, and that could be the game changer. It might be one or two people, but we want to see some lives, like change from that. For the Kenyan youths are very um, tech savvy. A lot of people are very curious. So there are those who are learning, there are those who are building tools, and the movement is growing. Every day you wake up, you see there's something coming up in a different area. Us being in the space, or maybe who have been in the space for quite some time, it's just to guide the rest, not to make the mistakes we made, and possibly, like, direct them in an area that will add value into what they are doing, so that there is more adoption, and hopefully the whole or the larger Kenya can move into Bitcoin standard at some point.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this will turn out like you're saying. Because when I listen to you, I say the myth that Bitcoin isn't really used as as a medium of exchange isn't totally true, because people in Kenya are using it as a medium of exchange before it's being used as a savings platform or technology. So I think that's the case from what you're saying, and you're also saying that a lot of people are unbanked, and
Yes,
Bitcoin allows these people to be on a monetary system.
to be their own banks. Absolutely,
To
100%. Yeah.
So they're included,
They are
basically.
included. They are included, and we say they are their own bank now.
And they're also setting themselves up to fight inflation, because I'm sure there's inflation going on there as well.
There's huge inflation, and
Like, can you give an example of huge inflation?
what I would say is this is a typical example that we use. If probably like I gave you 100 Kenya shillings right now, and I gave you 100 Kenya shillings worth of sats, and you hold that like for a year, the value of goods that you're able to buy with the 100 Kenya shillings that I gave you in cash would be probably 60 Kenya shillings uh, or less. But with SATs, you have a hedge against that inflation. You could probably buy things worth that 100 shillings, yes, but you are not losing to 60 like the other one. So Bitcoin does give you a hedge against inflation, which is a very huge margin for people who live on very defined margins here, like, in Africa, and specifically, like, for the slum. That inflation could mean someone missing their meal, and that inflation could mean some kid not going to school because of their school fees, being debased and such. So Bitcoin solves that for now.
Good. One last thing I'm just thinking about. Goods, are they being priced in sats, or are they being priced in Kenyan shillings and then you do the conversion on the spot?
We are pricing them in Kenya shillings, and then we do the conversion. We have been toying with the idea of converting it in sats. And one practical example that we've been using, since the Bitcoin has been having this gradual increase, is actually people to look at the value of Kenya shillings and the sats they spent versus the Kenya shillings and sats they're spending now. So people are starting to see that correlation. And we have some young guys who are saying now, you know what, I'm going to be pricing my services in sats. And there are
Yeah,
those
I
who
mean,
are,
why not?
yeah, and there are those who are like, what? Okay. So is that mentality of the conversion still going on? But people are starting to see that link, including the people who, in a normal day setting, you would not, think like, they could be doing that level of maths.
But they do.
They do now, yeah.
Ronnie, thank you very much. If you have anything else to add that I might not have asked that would be worth noting, please let me know.
Just to say thank you for this opportunity to share and to clarify, and also just to reinforce the article that you have done. Um, people can follow us on our X handle. They can check out our website, afribit.africa. Um, yes, we have challenges that we are facing, but we are building. We call it sat at a time, sat at a time,
Yeah,
So we'll keep building and we'll keep spreading the word, and we hope to see more people moving into the Bitcoin standard, specifically in Kibera. Thank you.
really nice. Thank you very much, Ronnie.
Welcome.
I will let you know when the article is done and I will send it over to you.
Welcome. Thank you, Andrew.